Ever wonder how computers might be able to uh, analyze financial markets,
Mm.
like way faster than any human, or diagnose illnesses with incredible accuracy,
Yeah.
or even predict crime before it happens?
Mm.
That's the kind of world AI is building, and we're diving into a report from the Brookings Institution.
Okay.
It's called How Artificial Intelligence is Transforming the World,
Right.
to explore just that.
Yeah. It's a really comprehensive look at how AI is already changing so many different parts of our lives.
I'm ready to have my mind blown, but first, maybe we can break down some of the basics.
Sure.
For those of us who don't spend our days writing algorithms.
Of course. Yeah, the report does a great job of defining AI in a way that's easy to understand.
Okay.
It basically boils down to systems that can make decisions
hmm
and solve problems that would normally require human expertise.
So it's not just about robots doing tasks, it's about machines that can actually think for themselves.
In a way, yes. The report talks about how AI relies heavily on something called machine learning. Imagine a detective sifting through, mountains of evidence
Yeah.
to solve a case. Machine learning is kind of like that.
Right.
Except AI can analyze massive amounts of data at like lightning speed
Wow.
to find patterns and
Oh.
make predictions.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does AI actually learn?
Hmm.
Is someone sitting there programming in all the answers?
That's the fascinating part. AI systems are designed to learn and adapt as they go.
Hmm.
They're trained on huge data sets, and they use that data to constantly refine their understanding
Okay.
and improve their performance. Think of it like a self-driving car.
Yeah.
Every time it encounters a new situation on the road,
Right.
it gathers data
Okay.
and uses that to become a better driver.
So the more data it has, the smarter it gets.
Exactly. Data is the fuel that powers AI.
Hmm.
And the more data we feed these systems, the more powerful and sophisticated they become.
And this Brookings report digs into how that power is playing out across different sectors, right?
Yeah.
Like finance, healthcare, even national security.
It does, and the report makes it clear that this isn't just some futuristic fantasy.
Right.
AI is already having a huge impact on the world around us,
Right.
and that impact is only going to grow in the years to come.
Well, I'm officially intrigued. Let's dive into some specific examples
Okay.
of how AI is transforming different sectors.
Sure.
What do you say we start with the economic side of things?
Okay.
This report talks about AI adding like trillions to the global economy.
Right.
How is that even possible?
The economic potential of AI is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Think about it. If machines can perform tasks that humans currently do, but faster and more efficiently,
Yeah.
that frees up human potential for other things.
Makes sense.
Plus, AI can analyze data and make predictions in ways that humans simply can't, leading to new innovations and breakthroughs.
So it's not just about replacing jobs, it's about creating new opportunities and making existing industries more efficient.
Precisely. And this is where things get really interesting. The report highlights how China is making massive investments
Oh, wow.
in AI research and development, aiming to become, a global leader in this field.
That's not surprising. China has always been at the forefront of technological advancements.
They see AI as a key driver of future economic growth, and they're putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak.
Right.
They're pouring resources into developing cutting-edge AI technologies, from facial recognition software to self-driving cars.
That raises an interesting question. If China becomes the dominant force in AI, what does that mean for the rest of the world?
That's a topic for another deep dive, perhaps.
Right.
But it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
The global race for AI supremacy is on, and the stakes are incredibly high.
Okay, let's zoom in on how AI is already shaking things up in specific sectors.
Sure.
What are some of the most surprising or impactful examples?
Let's start with finance. AI is already playing a huge role in how financial systems operate, even if we don't always realize it.
Oh.
For example, some investment firms are using AI-powered algorithms to analyze market trends and execute trades at lightning speed.
Wow.
This is known as high-frequency trading.
So we're talking about computers making split-second investment decisions. Potentially millions of trades per day, all driven by algorithms.
Exactly. And this raises some important questions about fairness and transparency
Right.
in financial markets.
It sounds like AI is giving some investors a significant advantage,
Right.
especially those who have access to the most sophisticated algorithms and the fastest computers. Is that a concern?
It definitely raises concerns about the potential for market manipulation.
Right.
And whether everyone has an equal playing field.
Yeah.
It's something regulators are starting to grapple with.
I see.
As AI becomes more prevalent in finance.
So AI in finance, it's potentially a game changer, but also comes with its own set of challenges.
That seems to be a theme with AI in general.
Yeah.
Immense potential coupled with, complex ethical and societal implications.
Well, let's move on from Wall Street to something a little more, shall we say, explosive.
Okay.
The report talks about AI's growing role in national security. What's happening on that front?
AI is becoming increasingly important in the world of defense and intelligence.
Okay.
For example, the U.S. military is using AI to analyze vast amounts of surveillance data,
Right.
helping them identify potential threats and make more informed decisions.
That sounds straight out of a spy movie.
Yeah.
Are we talking about AI systems that can predict terrorist attacks or identify enemy movements?
It's not quite that simple, but AI is definitely playing a role in those areas. It can analyze satellite imagery, social media posts, and other sources of data to identify patterns and anomalies that might indicate a threat.
So it's like having a superpowered analyst
Yeah.
that can sift through mountains of information and connect the dots in ways that humans simply can't.
That's a good analogy, but there's also a darker side to AI in national security.
What do you mean?
Well, there are concerns about the development of autonomous weapon systems. Basically, machines that can make life or death decisions without human intervention.
Killer robot.
Some people use that term, yes. It's a highly controversial topic. And there's a lot of debate
I bet.
about the ethical and legal implications of giving machines that kind of power.
I could see why that would be a concern. It's like something out of a science fiction nightmare. Machines deciding who lives and who dies.
It's a topic that deserves serious consideration.
Yeah.
As AI becomes more sophisticated, we need to be very careful about how we use it,
Right.
especially in areas like national security.
So AI and national security, a powerful tool with potentially terrifying consequences.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations to explore both the potential benefits and the potential risks of AI.
Right.
We need to be informed and engaged if we want to shape a future where AI is used responsibly and ethically.
Okay, so we've covered AI's potential to boost the global economy
Mm-hmm.
and its role in national security.
Right.
But AI is also changing the game in fields like healthcare, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that next.
Absolutely. Healthcare is one of the areas where AI is already making a significant impact. And that impact is only going to grow in the coming years. For example, AI is being used to diagnose diseases like cancer earlier
Right.
and with greater accuracy than ever before.
I've heard about AI systems that can analyze medical images,
Mm-hmm.
like X-rays and MRIs,
Yeah.
and detect subtle abnormalities that human doctors might miss.
That's right. AI is particularly good at pattern recognition, and that's a valuable skill in medical diagnosis. It can spot patterns in medical images that might indicate a disease, even in its early stages,
Wow.
when treatment is most effective.
So AI could potentially save lives by helping doctors catch diseases earlier.
Exactly. And that's just the beginning. AI is also being used to develop personalized treatment plans.
Manage chronic conditions, and even assist in surgery. The potential for AI to revolutionize healthcare is enormous.
This is amazing. It sounds like AI could make healthcare more effective, more affordable, and more accessible to everyone.
There are certainly challenges to overcome, but the potential is there.
Right.
And as AI technology continues to advance, we can expect to see even more innovative applications in healthcare in the years to come.
Okay, let's move on to another area where AI is making waves, criminal justice.
Okay.
I've heard about AI being used to predict crime. Is that something the report touches on?
It does, and it's a topic that sparks a lot of debate. Some law enforcement agencies are using AI to analyze data
Right.
and identify individuals who are deemed high risk
Oh, wow.
for committing crimes in the future.
So it's like a pre-crime unit, like in the movie Minority Report.
The comparisons are often made,
Yeah.
and it's easy to see why. The idea of using algorithms to predict future criminal behavior raises a lot of ethical and legal questions. Like, what if the algorithm is wrong? What if it flags someone who is completely innocent?
Those are valid concerns. And there's also the issue of bias. If the data used to train the AI system reflects existing biases in the criminal justice system, those biases could be amplified.
Yeah.
Leading to unfair outcomes.
So AI could potentially help reduce crime, but it also has the potential to reinforce existing inequalities and injustices.
It's a delicate balance, and it's crucial that we use AI in a way that upholds fairness, transparency, and accountability.
Hmm.
We need to make sure that these systems are used to protect people's rights, not to violate them.
Okay, we've talked about finance, national security, healthcare, and criminal justice.
hmm
Are there any other sectors where AI is having a major impact?
Oh, absolutely. Transportation is another big one. We're already seeing the rise of self-driving cars, and AI is at the heart of this technology.
Companies like Tesla and Waymo are pouring billions into developing self-driving cars.
Mm.
What's the latest on that front?
The technology is advancing rapidly. Self-driving cars are already being tested on public roads in several cities around the world.
Oh, wow.
And while there are still some technical and regulatory hurdles to overcome, it's clear that autonomous vehicles are going to play a major role in the future of transportation.
I can see the appeal. No more traffic jams, no more drunk drivers. Everyone just sits back and relaxes while the car does the work.
It sounds idyllic, doesn't it?
Mm.
But there are also some potential downsides to consider.
Like what?
What happens to all the truck drivers, taxi drivers, and delivery drivers who rely on driving for their livelihood? Will they be displaced by AI?
That's a good point. AI has the potential to automate a lot of jobs, not just in transportation, but across many different industries.
Right.
That's something we need to be thinking about as we move toward an AI-powered future.
It's not just about jobs either.
Right.
There are broader societal implications to consider.
Okay.
How will AI change the way we live, work, and interact with each other?
Yeah.
What are the ethical implications of giving machines more and more control over our lives?
Okay, one final sector I want to touch on before we move on is smart cities.
Okay.
I've heard a lot about how AI is being used to make cities more efficient and sustainable. What can you tell us about that?
Smart cities are using AI to optimize everything, from traffic flow to energy consumption to waste management. For example, some cities are using AI-powered traffic management systems
Oh, wow.
to reduce congestion and improve air quality.
So instead of sitting in traffic for hours, AI can help us get where we need to go faster and more efficiently.
Exactly, and that's just one example. AI can also be used to optimize public transportation routes, manage parking availability, and even predict and prevent crime.
Really?
The possibilities are endless.
It sounds like AI could make cities more livable, more sustainable, and more equitable for everyone.
That's the goal.
Right.
But as with any powerful technology, there are risks and challenges to consider.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that AI is used in a way that benefits all citizens, not just a select few.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into AI. It's clear that AI is already having a profound impact on the world around us, and that impact is only going to grow in the years to come.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
As AI technology continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more transformative applications in every aspect of our lives.
In the next part of our deep dives, we'll delve into some of the key challenges and recommendations outlined in the Brookings Report. We'll explore the tricky questions that AI poses for society
Right.
and how we can navigate this rapidly changing landscape. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back after a quick break.
We've seen how AI is already changing the game in fields like finance, national security, healthcare, and even transportation. It's clear this technology has the potential to reshape our world in profound ways. But as with any powerful tool, there are risks and challenges to consider.
That's exactly what we're going to explore in this part of our deep dive.
Yep.
The Brookings Report doesn't just paint a rosy picture of AI's potential, it also delves into some of the tricky questions this technology raises for society.
Let's start with one that's been on my mind since we began.
Sure.
Data.
Right.
We've talked about how AI systems are trained on massive data sets, but where does all that data come from? And are there any concerns about how it's being collected and used?
Those are excellent questions.
Yeah.
AI's dependence on data is both its strength and its Achilles heel.
Okay.
To become truly intelligent, AI systems need access to vast amounts of information.
Right.
But gathering and using that data responsibly raises a whole host of ethical and practical considerations.
Like what?
Well, for starters, there's the issue of privacy. A lot of the data used to train AI systems comes from our online activities,
Right.
our search histories, our social media posts, our shopping habits.
Makes sense.
Even seemingly innocuous data can be used to create detailed profiles of our lives, our preferences,
Wow.
and even our vulnerabilities.
So there's a trade-off between fueling AI development with data and protecting individual privacy.
Exactly, and finding the right balance is crucial.
Hmm.
We need to find ways to make data available for AI research and development without compromising people's privacy or exposing them to potential harm.
What about bias? We touched on this earlier in the context of criminal justice.
Right.
But it seems like bias could be a problem in any area where AI is making decisions that affect people's lives.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
AI systems can inherit biases from the data they're trained on.
Okay.
If the data reflects existing societal biases, those biases can be amplified in AI's decisions,
Right.
leading to unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Imagine an AI system used for hiring decisions. If the system is trained on data that shows a historical bias against women in leadership roles,
Right.
it might inadvertently perpetuate that bias
Why?
by ranking female candidates lower than male candidates,
Mm.
even if their qualifications are equal.
So even if the AI system itself isn't programmed to be biased, it can still produce biased results if the data it's trained on is skewed.
Precisely. And that's why it's so important to carefully consider the data used to train AI systems.
Right.
We need to ensure that the data is diverse, representative, and free from harmful biases.
Okay.
Otherwise, we risk creating AI systems that simply reinforce existing inequalities.
This brings up another concern that I've heard a lot about.
Okay.
The lack of transparency in AI. People talk about AI algorithms being like black boxes, where
Right.
we don't really understand how they're making decisions. Is that a valid concern?
It is. As AI systems become more complex, it can be difficult even for the people who design them to fully understand how they work.
Yeah.
This lack of transparency can be problematic, especially when AI is being used in areas where the stakes are high.
Like in healthcare,
Uh-huh.
where an AI system might be making life or death decisions about a patient's treatment.
Exactly. If an AI system recommends a particular course of treatment, we need to be able to understand why it's making that recommendation.
Right.
We need to be able to trust that the system is making decisions based on sound medical evidence, not on some hidden bias or flaw in the algorithm.
So transparency is crucial for building trust in AI systems and ensuring that they're being used responsibly and ethically.
Absolutely. We need to be able to hold AI systems accountable for their decisions.
Yeah.
And that requires transparency. We need to be able to see how the sausage is made, so to speak.
Another big question that comes up a lot is the issue of legal liability.
Okay.
If an AI system causes harm, who's responsible?
That's a question that courts and lawmakers are still grappling with.
Right.
Is it the company that developed the AI system? The person or organization using the system? Or maybe even the AI system itself?
This reminds me of the debates around self-driving cars. If a self-driving car causes an accident, who's to blame? The person in the driver's seat, even if they weren't actually controlling the car.
Right.
Or the company that made the car.
It's a complex issue, and there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, we're going to have to figure out how to assign responsibility when things go wrong.
So we've talked about some of the key challenges posed by AI, data privacy, bias, lack of transparency, and legal liability.
Right.
What does the Brookings report recommend we do about these challenges?
The report offers a number of practical recommendations for navigating this complex landscape.
Yeah.
One key suggestion is to improve data access for AI researchers while safeguarding privacy. We need to find ways to make more data available for AI development without compromising individual rights.
That sounds like a tall order.
Yeah.
How do you balance those competing interests?
It's not easy, but there are some promising approaches being explored. For example, some researchers are working on techniques that allow AI systems to learn from data without actually seeing the data itself.
Wow, that's fascinating.
This could help protect privacy while still enabling AI progress.
What else does the report recommend?
Another key recommendation is to increase government investment in AI research. The report argues that the U.S. needs to step up its funding if it wants to remain competitive in the global AI landscape. Right now, countries like China are pouring massive resources into AI development, and the U.S. risks falling behind if it doesn't keep pace.
It sounds like a Sputnik moment for the AI age.
You could say that.
Yeah.
The report also emphasizes the need to reimagine education and workforce training. We need to prepare people for the jobs of the future, not just the jobs of the past.
What kind of skills will people need in an AI-driven world?
It's not just about coding and technical skills, although those are important.
Right.
We also need to cultivate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. These are skills that will be essential in any field. regardless of whether or not it's directly impacted by AI.
So it's not just about training people to build AI systems. It's about preparing them to thrive in a world where AI is ubiquitous.
Exactly. We need to equip people with the tools and knowledge they need to navigate an AI-powered world, to understand its potential and its limitations,
Right.
and to shape its development in a way that benefits humanity.
The report also talks about the need for ethical guidelines for AI development.
Mhm.
Can you elaborate on that?
As AI becomes more powerful, it's essential that we develop clear ethical principles
Oh, yeah.
to guide its development and use. We need to think about what values we want AI systems to embody,
Yeah.
what limits we want to place on their power, and how we can ensure that they're used in a way that aligns with human values.
So it's not just about building AI systems that work.
Uh-huh.
It's about building AI systems that work well
Right.
and that reflect our values as a society.
Precisely. And that's a conversation that needs to involve everyone, not just technologists and policymakers.
Right.
We need to engage with the public, with ethicists, with philosophers, and with people from all walks of life to ensure that AI is developed in a way that benefits everyone.
This brings us to a question that's been lurking in the back of my mind throughout this whole discussion.
Okay.
What does all this mean for jobs?
Hmm.
If AI can automate so many tasks, are we all going to be out of work in the future?
That's a question that a lot of people are asking, and it's understandable to be concerned.
Yeah.
AI does have the potential to automate a lot of jobs that are currently done by humans.
Right.
But it's important to remember that technology has always disrupted the workforce.
The Industrial Revolution, for example, led to the automation of many agricultural jobs, but it also created new jobs in manufacturing and other industries.
Exactly. And the same thing is likely to happen with AI. While some jobs will be lost, new jobs will be created.
Okay.
The key is to adapt and to prepare for the changes that are coming. That's why education and workforce training are so important.
So it's not necessarily a question of whether AI will take our jobs,
Uh-huh.
but rather how we can adapt and prepare for the changes that AI will bring to the workforce.
That's a much more helpful way to think about it. Instead of fearing AI, we need to embrace the opportunities it presents.
Right.
We need to focus on developing the skills and knowledge that will be valuable in an AI-powered world.
Well, this has been a fascinating and somewhat unsettling exploration of the challenges posed by AI.
Mm.
It's clear that this technology has the potential to do a lot of good in the world,
Right.
but it also comes with its own set of risks and dangers. We need to be thoughtful and deliberate in how we develop and use AI if we want to ensure that it benefits all of humanity.
I couldn't agree more. AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Yeah.
It's up to us to shape its development and to ensure that it's used in a way that aligns with our values and aspirations.
Right.
We need to be proactive, not reactive. We need to ask tough questions, engage in open dialogue, and work together to create an AI-powered future that we can all be proud of.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll shift gears a bit and explore some of the more philosophical and existential questions raised by AI.
Okay.
What does it mean to be human in a world where machines can think and learn? What are the ethical implications of creating artificial intelligence that might one day surpass our own?
Yeah.
These are big questions, but they're questions we need to start grappling with now
Right.
if we want to shape a future where AI and humanity can coexist and thrive.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We spent the last 2 segments talking about the real-world impact of AI. The good, the bad, the potentially terrifying.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground: how AI is changing industries, the ethical challenges, the big questions about jobs in the future.
And in this final part, I'm curious to shift gears a bit. We've been focused on the practicalities, but what about the bigger picture? What does the rise of AI mean for humanity on a more, fundamental level?
That's where things get really interesting and maybe a little unsettling. This Brookings report doesn't shy away from the deeper implications. It asks whether we're simply creating tools or are we shaping a future where human values themselves are, redefined.
Okay, break that down for me. What do they mean by human values being redefined?
Think about it this way. What does it mean to be human in a world where machines can perform tasks that we once considered uniquely human? Tasks that require intelligence, creativity, even empathy.
I guess we start to question what sets us apart. If machines can do all these things, what makes us special?
Exactly. And that can lead to some pretty profound existential questions. What's the purpose of human life? What is our place in the universe? These are questions that philosophers have been pondering for centuries, but the rise of AI gives them a new urgency.
So AI is forcing us to confront some pretty big questions about ourselves and our place in the world.
It is, and it's not just about philosophical navel-gazing. These questions have practical implications, too. If we're creating machines that can think and learn, what responsibilities do we have towards them?
Okay.
Do they deserve any kind of rights or protections?
That's a whole other can of worms.
Uh,
I mean, we're still struggling to agree on basic human rights for all people. Now we have to consider rights for machines.
it might sound far-fetched,
Yeah,
but it's a conversation we need to start having. As AI becomes more sophisticated, the line between human and machine is going to become increasingly blurred.
right.
And we need to be prepared to deal with the ethical and legal challenges that will inevitably arise.
Like we're entering uncharted territory and we don't have a map.
In a way, that's true. But that's also what makes this so exciting. We have the opportunity to shape the future of AI, to steer it in a direction that benefits humanity. But to do that, we need to be having these conversations, asking tough questions, and grappling with the complexities.
So where do we go from here? What can we do as individuals to make sure AI is used for good and not for, well, something out of a sci-fi dystopia?
First and foremost, stay informed. Read about AI, follow the developments, engage in conversations like this one. The more we understand about AI, the better equipped we'll be to, shape its future.
Okay.
Secondly, don't be afraid to ask questions,
Right.
to challenge assumptions, and to demand transparency. AI is a powerful tool, but it's a tool that should be used in the service of humanity, not the other way around.
That's a great point. We need to be critical thinkers, not passive consumers.
Right.
We need to demand that AI is developed and used in a way that aligns with our values.
Absolutely. And finally, get involved.
Okay.
Support organizations that are working to promote responsible AI development. Advocate for policies that protect our rights in an AI-powered world. And use your voice to shape the conversation.
That's a call to action I can get behind. This deep dive has been eye-opening, to say the least.
Yeah.
It's clear that AI is a force to be reckoned with, but it's also a force that we can shape and direct if we're informed, engaged, and proactive.
This report from the Brookings Institution is a great starting point. It provides a comprehensive overview of the challenges, opportunities presented by AI, and it offers, practical recommendations for navigating this complex landscape. I highly recommend giving it a read.
And I'm sure our listeners have their own thoughts and questions about AI. We'd love to hear from you. What stood out to you in this deep dive? What concerns you most about the rise of AI? What hopes do you have for its future? Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and help us shape a future where AI serves humanity.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. It's a topic that's sure to keep us talking for years to come.